Hello, my name's Simon, welcome to Bent's. Today we're going to be looking at pruning summer shoots off top fruit to encourage more flower bud production, which will obviously mean more fruit next year. It's often called tip pruning or summer pruning, and this apple tree here, which is on a dwarfing rootstock, is a good example of where we can prune. So these long extension growths are what have come on this year, and if you take maybe the top third or so off, depending how vigorous they are, what should then happen in theory, and does normally happen, is that you get flower bud production at the leaf axils, which will mean that next spring that will have flowers all the way along, and then obviously you'll get a lot more fruit. And you can just do it on any of these shoots where you've got quite a lot of extension growth. On this particular apple, it's got a good crop, and you can see that sometimes it weighs the branches down a lot. You've got two options there really. You can either give them a little bit of support with a stick, maybe with a cleft in the top just to hold the branch up, or sometimes if you've got a lot of apples together you can remove the weakest apple from the bunch just so that the other two develop normally and also don't damage the tree. I'd also like to show you a common problem on apple trees, which is on this one. This one's been badly affected by scab, and that is something that you often need to spray for on apple trees, particularly apple trees. It affects the leaves, but it also affects the fruit, and you end up with, as you'd expect, scabby sort of corky marks on the skin of the apple. That one's fallen off, which is not a good sign. That may be because it's not had enough to drink. It's been a very, very dry summer so far. Often with scab on the fruit, it looks unsightly, but the flesh underneath is still edible, so quite often you can just peel off any affected skin and eat the fruit as normal. But if you wanted to, you could spray with something like fungus clear or cystane, which are systemic fungicides, and those will control it and stop it spreading anymore, because as you can see from these shoots, it does start affecting the new growth, and that will then have a knock-on effect next year because you'll end up with less of a crop and obviously an unhappy looking tree. So it's worth doing as soon as you see the first signs of it. Okay.